Right, first thing to do, open up StarTools. This is just a quick basic run through. No, well, I'm going to try and not do any anything too complex. Just at the base level. So I open my image. This one's from, I guess, Kevin Phillips. He supplied it. Wanted to know how to use StarTools and get, up a few steps on the ladder. When the file opens, you'll get confronted with this. Usually I'm one-shot colour anyway, so I usually always click the middle one. Stacking errors detected. That's usually the stacking around the edges. So anyway, what we do, start from the top left hand column, auto dev, let it do its stuff. This is just so you can see, or hopefully you can see any anomalies. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Well, I just go into default mode and keep at the top. It means you keep it. Then just go into bin, 71%. That reduces the scale. You still got quite a large image size, but it improves the noise resolution and speeds it up, floating through the computer, so you don't have to wait. Bin, crop, get rid of those wavy edges from stacking. Just decide where you want it to go. I just come in and try and keep some of the image. And you might notice that I'm going top left, cross, down, and the order of module workflow is more or less as it is. Start at auto dev, down to bin, crop, now it's wipe, all these little modules take a few seconds to run. Deconvolution tends to be the longest noise reduction. This one is a balance. There's a balance between the gradient of aggressiveness over on the left and the dark anomaly filter here. At the top here we've got colour. If you click on the colour you get a really good sort of reference sort of idea of how good it is. And you also, if you amend the filter settings or the gradient aggressiveness, you'll get a pretty quick, accurate view of what's happening. So it's not so easy to tell when you're just using luminance, unless it's obviously loads of vignetting and where your flats haven't worked or something like that. Normally I try to keep this down to between 2 and 4. So on my other camera makes a big difference. I can't go beyond 2. Well, but it is a trade-off between one and the other. Get a nice balance. I've stuck with 3. I'm going to go back to 2. Less is more. Subtlety is the king, in my opinion. You can't wipe noise away. That's a different thing altogether. We'll keep that. And going through our thing, I'll just quickly go through each one of those down to colour. Just going through the defaults really. Whoa, I've gone a step too far, hang on, cancel that. So we've done our wipe. Now don't go there. Go back to the auto dev or film development. You need to stretch the image before we do the other modules. See, we all make mistakes. Redo the stretch. The autodev does a really good job, but sometimes it will really overstretch. You've got a region of interest. Just simply drag and draw. I quite like this area here. It's like the bird's beak, isn't it? In Orion. That's better. It's not so blown out now. I've got nice dark areas. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll keep that. Now we can go into our contrast. All the time you do these different modules, keep zooming in using your wheel. Keep a check on the stars. Some modules, or the aggressiveness of a module, can seriously affect the stars. Even noise reduction will. So, any chromatic aberration, HDR is the next one. That's good. This is usually quite subtle, but can tweak out some faint stars, or just tighten them up. And up here on the right we've got before and after, so you can see it's just tweaked out a little bit of interest in the core of Orion. You can obviously reduce the strength. Sometimes I like to do that because it's subtlety's better than just enough. But more often than not, the StarTools defaults are usually there or thereabouts. Mr. Jager's software and skill is second to none. Could go into the sharp, it's personal that. Hit the next button. Follow the on-screen instructions, and they're pretty comprehensively take you through the workflow. I think I'll go for a conservative mask. Just creates a star mask. You need to protect the stars. Bit of whirring, gurring. We can affect the aggressiveness of the module as well. Use the amount. I usually at this stage take it down to about half. But again, zoom in and keep a check on your stars. There's slightly. What I'm looking for is anomalies in the centre of stars. Yeah, I'm going to cancel that. Actually, I'm going to reduce the amount even more. Get down to about 50. I just like it to be more. Any changes at this stage just make them subtle. There's a lot of walking noise in this image. You can see it going back. What's the groove? 10 degrees. Well, to 1 o'clock. I'm not going to try and fix that. The next one is the big one. Takes a bit of time, is deconvolution. Choose a mask. And just go with the auto generate mask. But again, keep an eye on the stars. It'll ask you to click on to use as a PSF. So look for rightly or wrongly, I tend to look for a pretty mundane, normal star. Not easy in this image because there's most of the stars have been blown out with the camera. I'll just take that for now. But keep an eye. Just look at the stars, zoom in, make sure they don't change dramatically. Because the stars are really... I've got a lot of blown out stars here anyway, so I don't want them to get even worse. Chromatic aberration. I think Kevin's used a camera lens. Slightly out of focus. Any of those, either one of those would create something untoward. As I say, this module tends to be quite comprehensive, so it takes a little longer than the others. Well, apart from noise reduction, which comes towards the end. But once it's finished, do a before and after, and just double check that you haven't got any serious nasties in the stars. Soon clear anyway, so now the exciting bit comes. From deconvolution, the next one down is the colour module, so we'll click on that. Initially, we'll go in and we need to fill the mask. Now I quite like this result. I think the colours are really nice. Occasionally, sometimes, quite often, it's worth trying to go into the mask, auto, stars, do. That creates a star mask. So what we're going to try and do is, what we are going to do is to white balance the image prior to using, a white balance for the colour module to focus on, do its business on, its calculations even. So do a star mask, say keep, that'll go back into the colour module, hit the sample, wait for the timer to finish, go back into mask, clear it and invert it so that it's a full mask, everything's green in other words. Keep that. Now see what we get. It's quite a nice image, but I actually preferred the other result without the balance. It didn't need white balancing, so I'm going to cancel that and then go back in. Go back in and reset to full mask. Let's get these lovely tonal values here. At this stage you'll find out if your wipe module did its job, because you'll get a fairly decent background dark. If your wipe was a bit suspect, then all around your dark space area would be colour biased, you'd get a bias with it. But even though I tend to take the dark saturation right down or off, that can help. The other aspect of this module is up here. You can spend days playing around in this module to get your colour balance. It's so preference. But if you hit this one at the top, which is max RGB, you get a colour map of the biases within the RGB image portfolio with the range. So, and then these on the left, you can scale them up and tweak your image to your heart's content. Beauty is the stars don't look too bad. You can see the aberration here and there, but I'm not going to go through tidying that up. At the end of the day, the real tidy up is to repair the rig. Your telescope's out of focus. You've also got its colour chromatic aberration as well. There's a limit. I mean, a yellow star is a yellow star. It can be fixed. You can spend a lot of time doing it, but it is possible. So we've done the colour module. If you want to reduce the stars, hit the star module. Let it create a nice mask. I might actually grow the mask a bit in this to see if I can incorporate some of the aberrations. Takes a few seconds. Come on, hurry up. Nearly there. So there's our mask. We don't want this in the mask, so to reduce it, remove it. If you want to, you can flood fill the light of now just concentrating on the green bits here. Just thought I'd try it and grow it. So much in the background. Shrink twice, grow again. Twice. That's a little bit more subtle. I'll keep that. See what it does. But again, keep an eye on those stars that you don't introduce more anomalies. You've got the before and after, so you can. Not sure, but after. The moment the mode is on Titan, try and dim it. Nah, didn't work. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You can try extending the halo. See if that helps. It's not doing anything. It's so. After, before. I prefer the before, so I'm going to leave it as it was. This is the filter module, which I'm not 100% sure how to utilise. Fringe killer. I'm just clicking on the horrible star. before, after. I need to read up a little bit more about this module, but you can see our colour aberration is so groovy. I'll keep it as it is anyway. As I say, it's a bit beyond the scope of this little run-through video. All I want you to do is get a feel for creating an acceptable image. This is the entropy module. You might as well go through all of them and see if they make any subtle differences. The main thing is not to be afraid of it, and keep an eye on the stars, because you'll before, after, before, after, before, keeping the before. Superstructure is the final one that concentrates on the whole shooting match, really. Sometimes can be a little bit strong. Worth a try, but keep an eye on the stars. And there's no reason. You can spend hours in each module playing with the sliders to see if you can get subtle changes. But you need to read the manuals and the module descriptions to get really in depth to understand exactly what's going on. Or get a brain transplant with Ivo Jager. He knows, he writes the program, he knows everything that's designed to do what each module's designed and linked to achieve for you. As I say, what I'm doing here, before, after, it's quite a subtle change that, but it hasn't affected the stars, that's the main thing. But it has tidied up the background a lot. And a lot of that walking noise is cleared up as well. Very good, we'll keep that. I'm now going to our last module, which is track and noise. Click on that. Apply noise reduction. Now, it says down here you can calibrate it. You click it, calibrate the parameters, and you'll watch it, and you can see the grain and any blotchiness disappear. It's a very personal thing. Quite often than not, the default that it starts off with is good enough. A little bit of noise is good. Otherwise, your final image can look a bit synthetic. It's like, you know, space isn't a sheet of plastic with some white dots and dusty stuff pasted on it. It's full of graininess and, dare I say it, atmospheric detritus, rubbish. So it all builds up. So you want to balance it. As I say, this module does take a little bit of time. But the superstructure module did do a good job on tidying up the walking noise, the background. Cleaned it up a treat. Look at that. By zooming in and out. As I say, it is one of the slower modules. The core is not too bad, and there's loads of dusty stuff going on in there. essential, really. So it's a shame the lens that's being used has some dodgy chromatic aberration, and the actual focus is a bit loose. Before and after, you've still got that option. As I say, it looks a lot smoother. Keep an eye on those stars, that they don't have any. What's the centres of the stars I'm watching for? That looks lovely. So that was a pixel grain size of about 18-19. Must be my eyesight, because I seem to use that a lot. It's a good idea to save your image now. So I'm going to save it as ST Final 01 .tif. You need to put that on. I'm using version 1.7. You have to put your own extension on. Am I going to overwrite it? Yes, I am. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Not the end of the game, because you can still go back into modules to tidy up. The filter module is worth investigating, to try and, especially if you've got backgrounds, but you need to go into the mask module and learn how to use the mask module a lot. So if you go in, initially it's come up, everything that's green is going to be operated on. So if you clear it, now you've got the option of picking and choosing areas that you want to. You can auto generate a star mask, as you've seen all the way through, but say you want to add, say, some sharpness just to this area here. You've got a load of options here. Similar colour, you can try it. No. As soon as it does that, I know that it's not going, but there is an undo button at the top. Similar colour, similar brightness. Similar brightness might help. Thought it might. Wow. Tell you what, just for fun. Well, no, I'm going to undo that. So I don't want it. I'm going to keep that. So I've created a mask. And I'm just going to grow it up the top here. I'll just grow it a little bit and keep it. And now I'm going to get. No, I thought it was. No, I'm not. Hang on, I'm going to go back in. That's not what I wanted at all. Clear it. What I want to do is just select this area here, so we can do a single toggle on, single pixel toggle, and holding your mouse down, we can just put some pixels. The green ones we're going to keep. Just paint them in right where we want them and blow it up. And within this menu here, we've got a grow blob. So if we click on the green areas, they'll grow. Sometimes works quite nicely. So if we can do that. The other one we've got, option, is a lasso option. So if we can draw, it's one good way of improving your mouse skills. Draw around the area that I want to combine. And don't forget, if you've gone over single toggle, single pixel even off, you can just edge a few bits off. Masks are very important to say. Well, I'm just doing this as a demo, so I'll save that. Keep the mask. Just now on just that area there. So perhaps if we go into the sharp module, click the next. What the key mask is. Zoom into it. Before and after. To say it's worth, before it was a bit blurry, after it's much tighter, but you have to read the manual, but that's just a quick shakedown of what's possible, but you can carry on different modules as well. We've got a contrast module. Increase the contrast. That's made a dramatic difference, that one. Taken out a lot of information. As I say, so much of this is personal preference. Before, after. It's a bit better. I've just reduced the locality. I can make it about 60. Just taking the edge off it, I think. Save. I'll save it as the other one, it will overwrite it. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. That's about all I want to say, really, all I want to do. How to create a pretty base picture in next to no time. Have fun.